Hello everyone, Kireth here, welcome to another GT Sport video. FIA at the Nurburgring. What a day this was. So we started off with the first lobby of the day, 251 points, so not the highest lobby we've ever been in. But two things I wanted to do today. Firstly, I wanted to just try and score some half decent points for Audi. Try and keep in the top 10 for Audi in terms of the manufacturer's ranking. And secondly, get kind of okay at the Nurburgring. So the Nurburgring is one of my weaknesses, amongst many, I will admit, but it's just a track I've never really mastered. I have actually driven it in real life, so you think I might be okay at it, but I'm no good at the Nurburgring really. So today, I wanted to give FIA a full crack, do a load of slots, which I don't often do, and just try and get better. Now qualifying was very weird. You can see we're following Rory here. It's because you want to look after your tyres. So we're going slowly, but if you look at the mini-map, I can see all of these cars behind and a gap ahead, so I decided to go for it here because I knew I wasn't very good around here, so I didn't want to have cars overtaking me and we're all going to lose time. So you can see here now with a lot of space ahead of me, a bit of space behind, going over the start-finish line. And to be honest, we do a very average and very slow lap of the Nürburgring. If you look at my optimal, the bottom right, it's a 7:10. Now I think the top drivers were doing 6-minute 53s or something like that. 53s, 54s. And so yeah, 7:10 optimal is just horrendous. But anyway, went into the first race, two objectives, score some half decent points, try and get okay at the Nürburgring. Let's see what happened in race 1. Already I think you can tell that it's race 1, so it's not going to be the best race. But this is how the racing was this week in FIA. You kind of followed the train. Very difficult to overtake at the Nürburgring. Not a track I've driven a huge amount in the game, but I didn't expect it to be this difficult to overtake. You see the McLaren's having a look, there's nowhere really to go, and you have to wait whole sectors really before you can actually have any sort of sniff of going up the inside. I think the McLaren, if I remember, tries to go for a move here, but kind of half thinks about it, and yeah, there's just no space. So we're following here. I think the smart move, McLaren gets 1 second penalty. The smart move would just be to look after the tyres, because the tyres did go off in lap 2 of this race. We'll fast forward a little bit, because I'll show you where, in race at Nürburgring, where you can make up positions. And it's these kind of big braking zones where people might try and just bite off a little bit more than they can chew. You can see the McLaren's trying to go around the outside of the Aston there. It's not really going to work. Cuts back a little bit. The Aston goes on the grass. The Aston's having a nightmare. The McLaren also brakes too deep, and that's where we're going to make up 2 positions. You can just see Wi-Fi password ahead in the Alpha even. And we catch up here with Wi-Fi. There's yellow flags ahead. Again, maybe an opportunity to pick up positions. Let's see. But going into this section of the track after the carousel, it kind of turns more into a racetrack rather than a long and windy and thin strip of road in Germany, if that makes sense. You have more apexes to attack and you can get on more of the curbs, stuff like that in the bit of the track coming up. All the way from here to the mini carousel, I'd say. Definitely has a unique feel to it. And I thought it's Wi-Fi password, very fast driver, very fair driver in the Alpha, which is a good handling car. We'll just follow him through here. Now my lines through here are absolutely atrocious, and this is definitely something I've tried to improve during the day, but at this stage of the race and day, I didn't really know what corners were following other corners, and it makes it really, really painful because everything is blind. Anyway, the next place where stuff happens in this race generally is the penalty lines. You see, please fix penalties, taking a penalty. I'm sure the irony was not lost there. And we've got a Portuguese driver in a, looks like a Jaguar. Yeah, Jaguar on the left hand side. And this is where things got interesting in this race. So Gaz Clever has probably taken some sort of penalty in the Audi TT. You have to lift here to follow the Jag through, and Gaz Clever is going to slot in behind. But I think this really set the tone for the rest of the day. So you can see here the Jag's catching it with Wi-Fi password. There's a bit of toing and froing, so I brake here, and I don't think you meant to brake at that part, but because it's all kicking off ahead, I'll just take it easy, not losing much time at all. But Gaz Clever behind, I think, has hit me, hits me again there, and he's going to pick up a 1 second penalty. And I don't think he's going to be too happy about that. And I can kind of sense the red mist descending, because you can see it on the radar when someone's really going for it. And this part of the track, as I said, is not really an overtaking part of the circuit, which can be very frustrating, but it kind of is what it is. And we come to this bit here, see Gaz Clever's up the inside, and yeah, it's not really an overtaking move. And we're in the barrier, spinning up the tyres. Look at the tyres on the left hand side, we've got damage as well. I need to mute that Discord when I'm doing videos. if you do want to chat more about KRT community, see where the liveries come from, like this Frey Bentos Racing livery there, do feel free to join the Discord. There is a link in the description below. You can see Gaz Clever here just nudges me in the back. It's not really his fault, although I don't blame myself for braking there, because it was all kicking off ahead and I needed to give myself some breathing space. So it's always the responsibility of the car behind, really. And I'd probably say the same thing if I was in his position and I hit the car in front. It's kind of, well, I should have given a bit more space. Anyway, this is a move for race 1, so yeah, it's not pretty. Get a nice look at the Frey Bentos Racing livery though. Anyway, so what I did after this is I did a bit of time trial, because objective 2 of the day is to try and get okay at the Nurburgring. And you can see here my optimal is now down to 7 minutes, so I've shaved 10 seconds off the optimal and getting somewhat closer to where I should be, really. So that's a 7:01 lap. Pretty happy with that at this time of the day, and I can kind of string together a little bit the last section. So you can see here 236, we're shooting down the lobbies as I'm just discarding DR left, right and centre, but it is what it is. I think the Nurburgring is an important track to learn, and this time on the outlap I took it super slowly. Look how slowly I'm taking it, all the way around, very gentle, and then finally on the back straight go full speed. And then this happened. This is my outlap, getting ready to do my 1 quali lap. Spin it on the penultimate corner or something before the penultimate corner. Thinking, okay, that's not ideal for the tyres, but let's go again. We haven't lost any time really. About to start the qualifying lap. All starts again. Turn 1. Let's do it. Get on the brakes. Spin the car around. So that is the worst start to a qualifying lap in history. If you've had a worse start than that, let me know. But it's going to have to be something pretty special to be that. Starting in 19th place for this race. It's on lap 1 here, and you can see it's starting to open up. We followed the other cars all the way around. I think someone rage quit. And it's all getting very bunched up here in this part of the track. And again, you just have to follow other cars. And yeah, unfortunately, that is my fault. I think I'm probably going to get a penalty for that. Yep. And almost a carbon copy of what happened in race 1. Except this time I'm the car behind. And again, I should have been a bit more cautious. I'll take the penalty. I'll take the wrap. That's pretty much going to write off this race, I think. You see cars ahead getting penalties. It's getting very congested. And I think we have an absolutely ridiculous situation here, where you have so many cars at different speeds, cars with penalties. It's getting very congested. And as we go into this right-hand corner on the straight, if I remember, it just gets completely ludicrous as you get some proper pinball physics here. And yeah, I think Smokey behind had a 10-second penalty there. I've now got 4 seconds. The guy on my right has got a number of seconds. So yeah, a lot of drivers there getting huge penalties. So you've got 4 seconds, but take on the next lap. You can see Smokey there with taking a 10-second penalty. Anyway, 15th place for that one. Still not really satisfying both of my objectives, which is to A, get half decent points for Audi, and B, try and get okay at the Nurburgring. We go again. And you see I've dropped down to an A ranking now, AS. It is what it is. And it's a fast lobby actually, some fast drivers in here. And in terms of the points, 251. So more points than the last lobby, weirdly, even though I've gone down. And we're on the outlap here, so I've got the hazards on. I've moved over to the left hand side to let cars through. But someone goes up me inside there, so I end up in the middle of the road. And it just wouldn't be a qualifying session without me picking up some kind of ridiculous penalty. Probably my fault, I would say. Although I had my hazards on, I was on the inside, is what it is. Anyway, do the quali lap, get a 7:06, which I was fairly happy with, to be honest. in terms of the journey for the day. So starting off with an optimal in time trial with no tyre wear of a 7 minute 10, and then now being able to do a 7 minute, well, calling it a 6, basically a 7, in the quali session that has tyre wear. I was pretty happy with that. 2 seconds off, kind of mid-pack. Anyway, here we go. End of the first lap. I'm in 17th place. And hoping to satisfy my 2 objectives, which I may be able to do here. See, the Greek driver's gone very wide. Sorry, this is first lap, my bad. So first lap here of the race, already made a position. That's the Greek driver that we had contact with in quali. Following this Aston Martin round, and sensing this might be an opportunity, he goes a little bit deep here, and I'm just going to claim the apex and get a position. So we're up into 15th place. Feeling pretty good about it at the moment in terms of the race. Trying to catch up with this pack here. The TT is good at this stage of the race, with the tyres not really worn that much. See if I can catch up with this pack again. They're going to come together, no doubt, when it comes to the tight right-hander in a couple of corners' time. We've got a fast right-hander here. Then we've got a very fast left-hander after this one, where you do want to lift a little bit. Then essentially a flat-out right. Normally flat out, we might have to just lift a bit here, and then it's going to be the right-hander where it's all going to get a bit chaotic. And I think at this point I get probably the worst penalty I've ever seen in GT Sport in my life. Not sure how I got a 2 second for that. Anyway, I did, and it was a bit of a shame because I can look up there and see 13th, 12th, 11th and 10th place just ahead. So the genuine midfield, one of those drivers has a penalty, and if I'd been in this position without that penalty, I'd be feeling pretty good. You can actually see, I think, even 9th place and above there. Anyway, is what it is. We come into this tight and twisty part. We'll take our now 2.5 seconds. I think I got a track cut somewhere. Someone's gone off there. RIP to them. So back to back, he's got a 3 second penalty. But he's going to get into some difficulty, I think, later on. I don't think he features in the race. And yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about the pace at this point. Even if the track position is, or the net track position really, when you take into account the penalty, is not looking that good. I'm hanging in with these drivers. So my mood is pretty good at this point. And there's still a chance of getting some half decent points. We will see. So following these drivers through the mini carousel, and we'll see Tabak take his penalty, and I'll take on penalty as well, and then we'll kind of see what happens in the wash, where we really end up. But that's where Tabak goes wide, that's where he doesn't feature. I'll almost follow him. And he has a bit of a nightmare here where he goes full spin, facing all the way backwards, so goodbye to Mr. Tabak. Right, we take the penalty here, and it's frustrating because, yeah, we could have been in 12th or 13th place. Anyway, we are going to drop back. Here's that Mercedes we passed earlier. This is the frustrating one. I can see that Aston coming. And I'm thinking, yeah, I passed that Aston pretty early doors in the race, and I was hoping not to see it again. And come lap 2, we're going to have to do it all over again. So that is a bit frustrating. Anyway, heads up. There might be more incidents ahead. We've already got our penalty for the race, perhaps. Final lap now. You can see the... Whoa. Contact there. I did okay not to actually get a penalty. I think the... Who is it? The Dutch driver there. He does... Not Dutch, sorry. Slovakian or Slovenian? Slovakian, maybe? Deserved to get the extra penalty there. We've got past the Dutch Aston. Going into the carousel now, this is where I really started to feel the tyre wear, and it's again a little bit of a shame because I felt like my race pace up to about now was okay. Actually, it's where it kind of should be for what I think my driving standard should be. But at this point, I really started to feel the tyre wear, and there was basically no chance I was going to get past this Toyota ahead. He just looked in much better shape, and he's going to extend that gap, and we're going to have to start to get defensive. I just couldn't quite make the apex anymore, and I'm not very good at this section of track anyway, although I'm a lot better than I was at the beginning of the day, which is good. I can now remember all of this bit and know where I should be kind of getting all over the curbs. A lot of the corners here are blind, so you do really need to know where you can go flat and where you need to brake. Coming onto the final straight now, Adama Banana, or Adama Banana, I'm not really sure how how to pronounce it, Adama Traore is what I'm going off. Is going to get out in front. I don't mind that. We'll sit in a slip, given the position. And to be honest, I'll take what a day. I'll take 13th place after all of that. A bit of a shame of what happened in race 1, sorry, because if I'd had a one and done there, if I got P13 in that race, I might have just called it a day. But I would say that I do think Objective 2 get okay at the Nurburgring. I think we are now okay at the Nurburgring. And next time this comes up in the daily, or next time it comes up in iRacing or something else, I can give it a good crack knowing that I've got a good base to build on now. So finishing in 13th place, and you can see that Greek driver in the RC he ended up finishing in 9th place, so maybe that's where we would have been, around there. But it is what it is. 125 points is a pretty poor total, to be honest, because we'd be getting plus 200. But yeah, it was a long and tough day at the Nurburgring, but I'm glad I did it. And I feel like sometimes, if you know a track and car combination isn't good for you, sometimes it's worth doing it anyway. You can see I went down to an AA rating there, by the way, so the battery rating, as I call it, not good. And in terms of the manufacturer's ranking, I think we were actually just already outside the top 10 for Audi, so that dream unfortunately is probably dead. We'll try and bring it back. That's going to be it for this video. Please do feel free to like, subscribe, comment if you've got any thoughts. We have some really interesting discussion in the comments to try and get back to everything. And I hope it was interesting to see how I approached FIA today, in terms of it being a combo that I'm not very good at. But otherwise, thanks for watching, really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.